not safe. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation, it's a Wednesday, hump day, don't you ever crump day. And these are the WTF reports, and they're liars. Yeah, they are. You won't be trusted anymore. All right, welcome to the Wednesday edition of the WTF Reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and as always, I'm broadcasting from the most confused, dumbed down, manipulated, and brainwashed nation on the face of the planet, bringing you news and information they hope and pray you never hear, trying to get everybody accustomed to using critical thinking skills and thinking outside of the box. Common sense rules supreme. Anyway, welcome to the show. I'm going to revisit some topics that we were discussing yesterday because I think we have found the silver bullet, the wooden stake to drive into the heart of the evil that we're seeing in this world right now. And I'm going to kick it off by saying, well, let me paint a picture. Would it make sense if there was a pro-life person working at an abortion clinic? Does that make sense? I don't think so. All right. So let's apply that, shall we say, conflict of interest. What do you say? I mean, it's just, they're diametrically opposed ideas. Okay. So let's apply that to the 10 Commandments. All right. I don't care if you're a Christian or a Jew. We both share the Old Testament and the 10 Commandments. Jews and Christians all have the same, God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They have the same prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah. I mean, they share all the same stuff, and most importantly, Jews and Christians share the 10 Commandments, one of which is, thou shalt not bear false witness. In other words, you will not lie. Now, again, I said this yesterday, that's not a suggestion. It's not a rule. It's not a law. It's a commandment. Let that settle in. You don't break God's law. However, the Israeli Mossad and IDF have their own motto, and that motto is, by deception thou shalt make war. The word deception, that means lying. By lying, we shall make war. So you have to ask the question, wait a second, who are you going to listen to? You're going to listen to the Israeli Mossad and the IDF? Are you going to go by their rule, their suggestion, their commandment? By deception, thou shalt make war. That sounds like a commandment to me, but that's diametrically opposed to God's commandment. So, all you Zionists out there, I mean, I saw a post earlier today. Somebody posted, Jesus was a Zionist. I said, oh my gosh, I just can't believe how dumb people are. Zionism didn't happen until 1894. Or was it 1896? It was 1890-something. I looked it up on Wikipedia earlier. Some places say it's 1894. Some say it's 1896. But that doesn't make any difference. Zionism did not exist in the time of Yeshua. Didn't happen. Okay, so Zionism, the Zionist Jewish state of Israel, and if they are going to abide by the rule or the law of the Israeli Mossad, they're commanding you to break one of God's commandments. So, I have to ask the question, if you're a Zionist, you are basically going against God's law. And I was shocked to hear that Steve Bannon said the following.
And that's why I'm proud to stand with the state of Israel. That's why I'm proud to be a Christian Zionist. That's why I'm proud to be a partner to one of the greatest nations on earth and the foundation of the Judeo-Christian West. I'm proud to be here tonight. I'm honored. I want to thank you, and I'm proud to be a Christian Zionist. Thank you.
How can you possibly be a Christian Zionist? It's one or the other. You do not serve two masters. So this is how confused people are. I mean, I see this as just common sense. If I'm wrong, I'd like to hear from somebody. And so I'll keep the phone lines open. If you want to call in, you're welcome to do so. 215-867-8255. Now, yeah, I mean, we got Bibi Netanyahu touting that Israel is the most moral army in the world. Yeah, that's what he said. However, there are some people out there that are saying, oh my God, this is horrendous activity by the Israeli Mossad and by the IDF. Did you know that they were actually protesting? They were slamming their hands on the prison doors because they want the IDF to be allowed to rape prisoners. You heard that right. They want to be able to rape prisoners. And as a matter of fact, there is a testimony here, a couple of women that were testifying about the treatment that many women are having when they're being detained by the IDF. And again, this is the most moral country in the world that abides by their own rule or their own suggestion or their own law or their own commandment. By deception, thou shalt make war. Listen to these women here.
She was taken to Sedate Man, and she was nude searched over and over again and filmed, and then she was raped twice by Israeli male soldiers, 2 of them at a time, while videotaping her. We have also one testimony of a woman who was also taken. She says she was also raped by an inspection device by a female soldier more than once. They inserted the inspection device in her rectum. We have also one testimony of a woman saying that she was strip searched and they would beat her on her behind and they would humiliate her in front of each other. Most of the women also who were taken from Gaza, West Bank and Jerusalem said they were beaten on their genitals, which has made us to conclude that there must have been a directive that's been given to the Israeli army to treat women in such manner, because in Jerusalem you're treated by completely different law enforcement than in Gaza or in the West Bank. But all these women said they were beaten on their genitals.
And I could just add on about the women who were forcibly disappeared in Gaza. Like I said before, it was usually as they were fleeing south through the safety corridor, they were abducted at the checkpoint. Many were taken to the Zakim detention center and then Negev detention center, and all together in one large hall, forced to strip completely naked and just sit in this hall, the women amongst each other and the men amongst each other. And it's also been reported and known that Israeli civilians are invited to come to this detention center and mock the Palestinian prisoners while they're naked, photograph them, and watch them as if it's a zoo. So that's something that we've seen.
This is sick.
Also, when it comes to checkpoints, like I said, it's where the sexual violence happens and it goes unreported. So we have a testimony of a teenage girl who was made to undress a man because he refused to undress. They made her undress him, even though she's not related to him. She doesn't know who that man is. And while being searched and touched and molested on their breast and on their genitals as well.
Now, this is the most moral army in the world. Is that right? Well, there are videos out there. Oh, I mean, it's just horrendous. There are IDF soldiers, and one of them is dragging a woman into this room. She's blindfolded, and her hands are bound. And they put her up against the wall, and then the IDF soldier put their shields all around so you can't see what they're doing to this poor woman. I mean, let that sink in. The most moral army in the world. I mean, this is insane. That is just insane. Okay, let me see. I got another clip here. Let me see. Where is it? Yeah. Okay, now let me see. Here it is. Off the rails. You're going to hear the first comment is from Moshe Feiglin, and then it's followed by John Mearsheimer. You're going to hear Mr. Feiglin in the very beginning. Listen to this.
Every child in Gaza is the enemy, and not a single Gazan child should remain there. We need to conquer Gaza and settle it.
Yeah, that's it. Then not a single child should remain there. Now, let's hear from John Mearsheimer.
File all of this under the Nazification of Israel. That's where it should be filed. This is a country that's gone completely off the rails, and the more that you see it in operation, the more it looks like the Germans under Hitler. This is just hard to believe. We're talking about eradicating all of the Palestinians in Gaza, murdering them. This is hard to believe.
I just think we need to kill them every one of them, and that's it.
Okay, I'm going to pause it. Now they're interviewing some women in Tel Aviv, and they're basically saying, yeah, go in and annihilate them. Everybody. All the kids, everybody.
We need to destroy their offspring to prevent them from creating more offspring.
We have to destroy their offspring to prevent them from creating more offspring. In other words, kill the children.
This is the sort of things that the Germans did. It's supposed to be never again. I don't see any evidence that people in Israel believe in the principle of never again, certainly when it applies to the Palestinians.
Mm-hmm. So do you see how bad this is? Again, the commandment is thou shalt not bear false witness. It also says, by the way, thou shalt not murder. And those are two commandments that the Israeli army is breaking. And by the way, let me remind you that the Mossad and the CIA and the FBI are all one. Yes, they are. They've been working together for decades and decades. No wonder Kash Patel has that deer in the headlight look in his eye. He got in there and said, oh my God, I got to play footsie. That's why I believe he's flipped. And that's why I believe, the message that was sent when Charlie Kirk was assassinated live on television, for everybody to see, that was a message to everybody who dares speak out against Zionism, against Israel. As a matter of fact, Anna Kasparian and Tucker Carlson were talking about these depraved individuals. Here's what they had to say.
You can't deny the fact that one and only Catholic church in Gaza was bombed, was attacked. You can't deny the fact that churches have been targeted in the West Bank as well. People can lie to us as much as they want, but the videos are out there.
How do you blow up a church if you've got munitions, laser-guided munitions that are so sophisticated that they can take out a guy in an SUV from 30,000 feet? How do you blow up a church with a giant cross on top of it?
It was just an accident, Tucker. It was an accident.
It's not the first church that's
No,
been blown
it's not.
up.
And it wasn't an
close.
accident.
What is the answer? Can anyone get an answer?
I know the answer. Israel wants a Jewish state and they want to expand. They have something known as the Greater Israel Project. They intend to annex the whole of the West Bank. In fact, Miriam Adelson legally bribed Donald Trump to ensure that happens. And Israel announced that that's what they're going to do, and they're doing it.
These are the United States of Israel, folks. Don't make any mistake about it. They have taken over. They had that convention last month. 50 states, one Israel? Amazing. But, Bibi Netanyahu was talking about his father and how the Zionist state of Israel was being created many, many years ago. Here's Bibi in his own words.
America will be the rising power in the world. There may be a world conflict. America will emerge as the great power, and America can make Britain do what Britain doesn't want to do. That is, recognize a Jewish state. Well, they went to America. Jabotinsky died, and my father continued alone during the during the war years, agitating for Zionism. He was all of 32. And he began, that's in 1942. He decided to do something that no Jewish leader did before. He went to the Republicans. And he went to Senator Taft, who was a very great senator, because Roosevelt would not hear of a Jewish state. He was absolutely opposed to it. He didn't want to antagonize the British. He thought that the British wanted to cater to the Arabs. He simply would not do it. He was a great leader, but it was for the Jewish people, that wasn't good. So not being able to persuade the Democrats, he went to the Republicans. And he said to Senator Taft, to advocate, to put in the Republican National Convention on the platform, support for unrestricted Jewish immigration in a Jewish state. Well, Roosevelt didn't like it, but 3 months later, he had no choice. The Democratic National Convention adopted a similar platform. So in many ways, my father was the progenitor of the bipartisan American support for Israel.
Mm-hmm. So there is a history behind it. And yet, what is their methodology? Is ethnic cleansing, it's genocide, it's all we are all seeing this, and the world sees it, which is why the world hates Israel and the United States. We are the enablers. We have been funding Israel to the tune of over $30 billion. Wait a second, no more than that. No, wait a second, I had a chart. No, it's $30 trillion since this whole thing started all these decades ago. We spent so much money on the most moral army in the world. Again, here's Bibi Netanyahu touting, how moral they are. Yeah.
And I have to tell you, Israel has the most moral army and also the most adjudicated army. And I stand with our soldiers. I mean, they're the most moral soldiers in the world.
By deception, thou shalt make war. Lie after lie after lie. And again, I remind you, if you're a Christian out there, how can you be a Christian Zionist? Or how can a Jew be a Zionist? You can't. They don't go together. Like I said, that's like a pro-life woman working at an abortion clinic. It doesn't happen. You cannot be a Zionist and claim to be a good Christian or a good Jew. I mean, I could be wrong about this. Somebody call me up. I want to hear what your opinion is. Am I stupid? Am I crazy? I don't think so. And I don't believe I'm lying. I got all the audio receipts, and you've all seen this with your own eyes. And this is why I cannot believe how TPUSA is just covering everything up. They don't want you talking about anything outside of the confines of the official narrative that Tyler Robinson assassinated Charlie Kirk. They don't want you talking about that. No. As a matter of fact, Candace Owens pointed something out that was very interesting. We were talking about Mikey McCoy last week. And yesterday I brought up Tyrell Farnsworth. There were a couple of other people that did some very strange things. The moment Charlie Kirk was assassinated, they went off and did some really weird stuff that just doesn't make sense. And yet Candace Owens brought this little piece of information to light. Listen to this.
Mikey McCoy, the chief of staff of Turning Point USA, Mikey McCoy, for whatever reason, he always requires an adjective. Whenever they discuss Mikey McCoy, there's an adjective before they say his name. A bunch of people in the Turning Point USA orbit described Mikey McCoy in this very unique manner. I want you to take a listen to that.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right now. And again, I refer to the motto of the Israeli Mossad and the IDF. By deception, we shall make war. Okay, and I got a feeling it's not exclusive just to their military forces. It basically goes along to everybody who is supporting the Zionist state of Israel. Listen up.
But let me tell you who the heroes were in this whole thing. We're going to start with 23-year-old Mikey McCoy, and that's when the great Mikey McCoy showed up.
And my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy.
My friend Mikey McCoy, the brilliant 24-year-old who at the time when Charlie was shot was 23 and was a hero that day.
I used to be known as Charlie Kirk's pastor, now I'm known as Mikey McCoy's dad.
He clicked into gear eventually.
He did.
It was amazing. Mikey was a heroic figure on that day.
Okay, I'm going to pause this. Has anybody seen the video? Has anybody seen where Mikey McCoy was? He was to Charlie's left. And if you're looking towards the stage, he would be on the right-hand side of the stage. He was about 8 to 10 feet away. And the moment that Charlie was shot, he didn't even fall off the chair yet. Mikey McCoy turned and walked away with his phone up to his ear. And he nonchalantly walked away. Yeah.
Amazing, heroic, he was brilliant. It stood out to me really because it's only Mikey that they moved to do it for. And objectively speaking, okay, I don't care what your experience in life is, I would not move to insist that someone was, quote unquote, heroic for walking away from their friend after he was shot.
Well, not only that, but Pastor McCoy, Mikey's dad, said that Mikey was covered with blood. That was a lie. One lie after another, and yet TPUSA is standing by this whole narrative with Tyler Robinson. Nothing to see here. You're a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. If you ask questions, time to move along. Let's turn the page. Maybe that's what they mean by turning point, right? So again, we have to ask the question, why? Why would they want to take him out? Well, I think it's quite obvious. I think it's very obvious. Here's a couple of clips, more fuel to the fire.
You might have silenced Charlie Kirk's voice, but let me tell you something. Though we might not be blessed with his future opinions.
Well, that's not the clip I wanted to play. Here it is. I'm sorry about that. Here's Candace again on TPUSA.
And I don't know how the executives over at Turning Point USA sleep at night. Okay. I don't know how you can present yourselves as a Christian organization and not be dedicating yourself to the truth. No matter what the cost is, you tell the truth. That's it. Okay. You don't hide it. You don't try to obfuscate it. You don't try to say, well, wait until the memorial event before we start looking into who murdered him. You tell the truth and you tell it immediately. And I don't think they're capable of doing that. And I have an idea as to why that is. I think the same people that were pressuring Charlie are pressuring them. In fact, I know that for a fact.
You think?
So they might need my help. Okay. I'm going to state this, and I'm going to challenge Turning Point USA executives to issue a very clean statement saying that I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright. Okay, Charlie was done. He said it explicitly that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our onstage reunion could happen? It's a yes or a no. Okay, let's stop this ditching. Let's stop the dodging. Let's explicitly, I want to hear from Turning Point USA that I'm lying about that. I want you to say, no, it was just, he was feeling a little bit of pressure. No, I want you to literally answer what I have just said. It either happened or it didn't. I'm either making it all up or it happened exactly as I'm saying. And while we're at it, may I ask, what is the name of the Jewish donor who sponsored the Hamptons weekend? Okay. And to Pastor Rob McCoy, were there any LLCs that you or your son were being paid through that sat outside of Turning Point? I'm asking that question genuinely. Yeah, I'm putting the fire here right at the feet of Turning Point because I am disgusted. I am genuinely disgusted. I am looking around and wondering whether Charlie's entire life was the Truman Show. None of you guys are behaving in the way that you should be behaving, okay? There is no way you are letting these lies fly unless, as I am hearing, unless it is true that there was a big payday that was on the line. And if Charlie radically stated that he was done with Israel, if Charlie said he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause because of, and I quote, Jewish donors, the behavior of Jewish donors, if he said that, yes or no, well then, I don't know, maybe some people didn't want to take that risk that he was going to become Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA with all of those presences, so much presence across college campuses. Maybe they didn't want to take the chance. You see, I'm just one person, so it's easy to just try to cancel my life and lie on me every second of every day. But Turning Point USA, I think, got a little bit bigger than Charlie, and I'm no longer going to allow this lie in this narrative. So answer the questions, yes or no. And I'm going to, again, challenge you to lie. And if you do lie, I'm going to expose the lies, and I'm going to start dropping videos, actually. So
do it.
That's where I'm at. Enough of the games, enough with trying to allow Israel to wrangle a narrative that you know is not true. Charlie did not die pro-Israel. He did not die for Israel. He did not martyr himself as a friend of Israel. In fact, the friends of Israel were pressuring him really badly, and he was done, and he finally stood up for himself. And I'm proud of that. And I will say this, you know what? Somewhere, Charlie is watching, okay? And I hope he knows that we are reunited, okay? We're on stage right now, and the Jewish donors are very angry about it, extremely angry about it. But it feels good to know that in the end, truth is going to win, so.
Yes, it will win. But we have to keep in mind, again, by deception, thou shalt make war. We are going to lie and lie and lie. And they're continuing with the lies. As a matter of fact, now, they're going to honor Charlie. They're going to be giving Erica Kirk an award for all the good work that Charlie Kirk did to support Israel's cause. Now, we all know that over the past several months before Charlie was assassinated, he had turned. He had come to understand. He came to realize what was going on. And that is why the Israeli interests were being, shall we say, threatened. I mean, the budget for TPUSA, the annual budget, was about $140 million. Bibi came along and offered $150 million, an extra $10 million. Charlie turned it down. And and he also refused to go to Israel and meet with Bibi. So that was like to Netanyahu and the Israelis, that was like a slap in the face. How dare you defy us? How dare you not go along with what we told you to do? But them's the facts, folks. And again, I'm not stupid, I'm not crazy, and I don't lie. And I don't think that Candace Owens is lying either. She's taking so much heat. Why? Why do you suppose she's taking heat? Why are they going after Tucker Carlson? Why are they going after Ian Carroll and Ryan Mata and Eric Warsaw and all the other independent investigators that are doing the yeoman's job? They're doing the job that the FBI should be doing. But the FBI is more concerned with prosecuting the case. They just want to prosecute Tyler Robinson, get this over with, turn the page, nothing to see here, move on. That's what they want. But there are a lot of folks out there that are disgusted with what Israel is doing, because what Israel is doing is putting all the Jews in danger. Now, again, I point out, and I've gone through the history in the past, the quote-unquote Jews that are in charge at Israel are not the real Jews. They're imposters. They're Khazarians. They're Ashkenazi. And I played clips from that. I mean, all you got to do is do some research, and that's why 97.5% of the Israelis are not indigenous to the area. They're from Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and North America, which just so happens to coincide with the evolution of the Khazarian mafia. Anyway, somebody wrote a little letter to Israel. I'm going to share this with you, and then I'm going to take a quick break.
Listen up now for the very last time, and listen carefully. We don't hate you because you're Jewish, you ignorant, duplicitous, genocidal scumbags. Sure, amazing Jewish people are at the forefront of the pro-Palestine marches and movements all over the West. They're the very best of us. We hate you because you murder children with sniper fire. You allow babies to die and rot in their incubators. You burn people alive in their tents. You're attempting to starve a civilian population to death, and you will only allow a trickle of aid in to appease your low-life allies in Europe and America. That's why we hate you. And anti-Semitism? You're the most anti-Semitic people in the world. You label people who ask you to stop murdering children as anti-Semitic, as if murdering children was a core principle of Judaism.
That's a good point. That's a good point. If you starve innocent people, if you kill women and children, if you snipe them, if you bomb them. There was a video of a little girl, couldn't be more than 6 or 7 years old, carrying a bucket of water, and they droned her. Boom. Okay? I mean, this is the most moral army in the world. What are you smoking?
You thick fucks, and your day is coming. Judgment Day is coming for you. Even your pathetic, spineless allies in the States and in the so-called UK and France and Canada, they see what way the wind is blowing. Even Piers Morgan, the rat's rat, is jumping ship. So I can't wait to see you all face justice.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Justice will come, because the truth, as the old saying is, a lie needs another lie for support, but the truth will stand alone. Stand by those words.
Bribery, coercion, blackmail.
Yeah, those are the three tools that are being utilized by the dark forces to keep everybody in step. I'll be right back.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get more tank by going to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and it'll take you down to a window where you can click on Get More Tank and you can read all the specifications and details and why this fuel catalyst is so good. It's not an additive, it's a catalyst. And that means it changes the way the fuel burns. It cleans out your engine, gives you more power, and after you've used it for a tank of gas, you'll start to see the mileage improve. Yeah, anywhere between 15 and 20%. Now, when you spend $20 with the promo code, you get 5 tablets. Now, if you're getting 20% better mileage, do the math. That means the 5th tank is free. This is a no-brainer, folks. It's a win-win. If you haven't tried it, you really should. So please visit our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and Get More Tank. Okay, the phone line is open if you want to join me. Of course, I'm trying my darndest to expose Zionism for what it is. It is anti-God. So you cannot be a Christian Zionist. You cannot be a Jewish Zionist because Zionism requires that you break the commandments. It's simple as that. Simple as that. That's why I see this whole thing, I see the 10 Commandments as the silver bullet or the wooden stake to take out Zionism. So getting that word out, helping people understand that God's commandment supersedes and overrules the Mossad's commandment. By deception thou shalt make war. They lie. It's their law. That's what they do. And who was the father of the lie? Who was Jesus talking to? He was talking to the Pharisees. In John 8:44, I believe it is. Yeah, John 8:44. Pick up your book and read it. Anyway, okay, I'm going to change gears a little bit because there's something really interesting going on with this 3-eye Atlas thing. As a matter of fact, NBC, listen to this report by NBC. This blew my mind. Are they setting up Blue Beam? I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. Anyway, here's a report from NBC.
Aliens exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making...
Okay, I'm going to pause it, because this is why I have to scratch my head and say, I don't know if this is true or not, because we know that they lie.
The extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years, not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives.
Okay, then. I don't know what to believe at this point. Because I've been hearing about the Galactic Federation for decades. Now, I have my own personal beliefs as to what UAPs or UFOs are all about. I've seen some very interesting things in my lifetime. And I've shared a couple of those stories with you, dear listeners. And the only reason, that I sort of bend my ear to a lot of this stuff is because my dad was top gun in the Air Force at Elmendorf Air Force Base. Trainer pilot, test pilot, fighter pilot. And when I came home and freaked out because I'd seen something, he shut me down immediately. Don't you ever talk about it. It didn't happen. And if you talk about it, you'll be grounded forever. So and that was just the first of 5 different experiences that I've had in my lifetime. So I know that there's something weird going on, but I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's true or what isn't. But there was another report that came out, the day before yesterday. And this, I don't know. I'm just reporting this. I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying that, I believe this. But I got to share this with you anyway. Listen up.
3i Atlas sent a message to Earth yesterday, and it's changing everything and putting the world's top sign list into a tizzy as to what it means. And these are videographer images behind me of it passing through our solar system. But the top sign list in Antarctica, that base there, was like, we should listen up at it because like our ozone's thinner here, there's not light pollution, and they did pick up on a frequency, and it was like a binary formulaic Morse-esque code, and they captured it very clearly. They put in advanced AI algorithm, ChatGTP, and it translated what the most likely interpretation of it is. And it says, we sky cousins, we come peace, friends, we pass by to observe Earth. And then it says, we put man on Earth millions of years ago. We return to elevate man. And then they ended the message with, hang tight, friends, hang tight. This is huge. There was another part of the message after they said hang tight that we haven't been able to interpret. We're working on it right now. We're tweaking the AI algorithm to see if we could figure it out. But follow along, and as soon as we're able to crack that code of what the last part of the message is, I'll share it out. But let me know what you think that earlier message is. Everyone's trying to figure it out.
That's interesting. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is true. I'm not, hanging my hat on this because we don't know what to believe anymore. And NASA has basically been very tight-lipped about all of this stuff. They don't want you talking about it. And that's, they're saying that, it's the government shutdown that has prevented NASA from releasing any of the observations. You think that the government shutdown mean that, okay, let's close down the telescopes, everybody go home, we're not going to watch anymore. Horse hockey. Of course, they're scrambling to see what the heck this thing is. If it indeed even exists. We could be getting, being fed a whole ton of lies. How do we even know that there is this thing, the 3i Atlas? We don't know. And their methodology is to lie. They keep on saying it over and over. But anyway, let me see. Yeah, the phone number here is 215-867-8255. All right, so if you want to call, I'll put you right on. Getting back to this thing about Israel, it was a press conference, and they were speaking, of course, in Hebrew. Excuse me, and let me see. Okay, basically what's going on is the Israeli soldiers who raped Palestinians, they held a press conference to defend their actions. Yeah, to defend their actions. They believe that they have the right to rape the prisoners. This is the most moral army in the world, according to Bibi Netanyahu. I mean, these people are insane. And as a matter of fact, there's a woman, Dr. Miriam Francois, is describing how deranged and how maniacal these people are. This is her. This is her saying it. It's not me, folks.
There is no putting lipstick on a pig. This is looking psychotic. It seems from the outside there's not sufficient introspection on when it comes to Israelis themselves. We have seen the most deranged behavior from Israelis. And I'm not just even talking soldiers. We've seen deranged behavior from soldiers, but we've seen deranged mothers on TikTok dressing up their children with black eyes and missing teeth, or making fun of parents losing babies. We've seen soldiers urinating on Palestinian captives, children attacked by dogs, sexual assault, rape. At a certain point, are Israelis aware that public perception today of Israel is of a deeply depraved society? I mean, you can put all the Hasbro spin that you want on this. There is no putting lipstick on a pig. This one is, there is no rollback. And I think what's particularly complicated is the lack of introspection that we are not seeing from Israelis. It's just, everyone's anti-Semitic, everyone hates the Jews. Really? You think that's why people hate Israel today? This is looking psychotic.
It is psychotic. And she made a very good point. You cannot criticize them because they call you an anti-Semite, and God forbid that happen. So this is how people get kowtowed and browbeaten into allowing that to happen. This is just insanity. So let me see. I got a couple of other things I was going to get to here. But again, the phone line is open. I'm surprised nobody's called in. 215-867-8255. So anyway, there's something else I forgot to mention. Yeah, get this. Candace Owens has figured out, they did some research, and they were pinging the cell phones at the event when Charlie was assassinated. And they found that 12 phones were registered from Israel. Now, this is not that they went through the IP addresses or anything. No. If you go to, if you go to buy a phone, if you go into, T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever, and you buy a phone, that's where that phone originates from. All right. And they found, Candace was reporting that 12 cell phones originated from Israel. So there were 12 at least, a minimum, of native Israelis on site when Charlie was assassinated. So that's just something else to put into the boiling pot here and see if we can't figure out what the heck happened with Charlie. Okay, we got a caller. Let me see, who might that be? Who could that be? Is that Cynthia?
That's Cynthia.
Hey, girl. How are you today? Am I stupid? Am I crazy? Am I lying?
You're an innocent sometimes.
I'm a what?
An innocent.
An innocent. Oh, that's okay.
Among Jews.
Get a little closer to your phone. You sound like you're on the other side of the room here.
Among Jews.
Yeah.
They follow the 10 Commandments. But if you're not Jewish, they don't have to follow those 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm.
I was present when a friend of mine who's Jewish got a call and discovered that a merchant in Europe was defrauding him. And he called him up and he was yelling at him saying, "You can't do that to me. I'm another Jew."
Mm-hmm.
And I was told that by this businessman that we take our disputes to the rabbi's court, the rabbinical courts. We don't take them to the U.S. courts. They have their own justice system set up. They do not have to be honest with you because you're not a Jew.
Right.
The same is true with the followers of Muhammad. And my friend G.R. Mobley tells the story of Jefferson Davis when he was overseas as a diplomat, discovering that the ambassador from a Muslim country was lying to him.
Mm-hmm.
He thought, "You don't lie to somebody else in a setting like this. You're an ambassador." And he went ahead and obtained a Koran and started reading it and went, "Oh my God, they don't have to tell me the truth within their ethics system."
No, it's in the Talmud. You don't have to tell the truth. You can lie. Goyim don't deserve truth. That's in their book.
Right. So when you were saying these Jews, how can they do this? They're supposed to be following the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments. Well, they are following the commandments among themselves, but not with others. Goy. with other people. My friend never treated me like a goy.
Mm-hmm.
I was really shocked when I learned about this concept. And there's many Jews out there who are totally brainwashed by this Holocaust hoax.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're afraid. They were afraid to tell me. You could see the hesitation. They would tell me, you need to know I'm Jewish. And I was a small town girl. I had no preconceived notions about Jews. We weren't taught to hate Jews in the churches I went to. I was just flabbergasted in the last couple of years, all the revelations that Christians have been misled to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And we're innocent. Many of us are innocent.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my comment on. By the way, I sent you some emails on, including one on the results of the COVID vaccine, the microscopic.
Oh, okay. I'll check that out.
Okay, because remember that appears to be spearheaded by Jewish interests. And was it you that said that Netanyahu has a syringe mounted as a war trophy? Was it you?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's one of the things that's out there, is that they used deception, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this COVID shot was not safe or efficacious. It was dangerous. It's a bioweapon, like the state of Florida has announced. It's a bioweapon, and it's banned. The RNA technology is banned in their state. The concept being that he would have a syringe there in his office as a war trophy should tell us a whole lot. And we need to start organizing. And you know me, I say go to that Constitution, start making your county officials obey the Constitution. If they don't obey them, then there's consequences for them that need to come around sooner than 2024, 26, sooner than that.
Well, if we have a justice system that actually works, then maybe so. But, people aren't following the Constitution. I mean, they haven't been doing that for a long time, to be quite honest,
Yes, but you don't use a court system if they have violated their oath of office. Those legislators, for example, in South Dakota that voted for digital currency, that's a violation of the oath of office to defend the Constitution. And you just need to start drumming them out of office. You go up and you start saying, you file petitions saying they are to be dismissed because they have not followed the Constitution. And if you, sheriff, or district attorney or whoever, or governor, doesn't arrange to get them out of office, you are violating the Constitution also.
Well, the Brunson brothers brought forward that lawsuit because 280-something members of Congress were guilty of dereliction of duty because they did not investigate the discrepancies in the election of 2020, and they are constitutionally bound to do so. So they either were guilty of malfeasance, dereliction of duty, or treason. And that lawsuit is still sitting on the shelf at the Supreme Court. So, I mean, this is why I'm saying, you can bring lawsuits all you want if they break their oath, but you got to get it through the legal system to have any teeth in it.
No, we have to avoid the legal system. It's already rigged.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying,
But in the Constitution, it does not require the use of the justice system.
Well, how do you enforce the Constitution without the justice system? Because everybody's leaning on the justice system. I mean, that's how screwed up things are.
How long can they withstand the public coming up one by one at their meetings saying you have violated the oath of office and you need to get out of office? You're committing treason.
Well, this is what's happening across the board. A lot of these members of Congress, that when they go out and speak in public, the people are coming up to the microphone and challenging them and saying, wait a second, how much money did you take from AIPAC? Are you serving America first or Israel first? Do you have dual citizenship? These are all very difficult questions for these members of Congress to deal with because they've been deceiving the people for all these years, but now the people are waking up. We just need more to wake up a lot quicker.
True. Thank you for letting me call in.
No, always. I welcome your call. Thank you. Thank you for being there. All right. You take care, Cynthia. All right. Very good. There were a couple other things that I was going to get to, but I'm curious to find out, how many people believe what we're being told about this 3-eye atlas. Now, I just played to you a couple of clips here, one from NBC and another from some folks that were supposedly deciphering a signal, putting it through ChatGPT or AI or whatever, and basically this thing is supposed to be saying, we are friendly, we come in peace, we're just passing through, checking up on you. I don't know what to believe anymore. Anyway, I forgot to mention, the Wave Watch. I've been using the Wave Watch, and for you regular listeners, you know that I was starting to complain about kidney pain about 2 weeks ago. And I've had kidney stones before, and I don't like having kidney stones. I don't think anybody who's had kidney stones, you know what I'm talking about. But when this pain started to come in, I went, oh, no, not a kidney stone, not a stone. So I went and I talked to my doctor, and he said, basically, just drink a lot of water and some cranberry juice, the organic stuff, non-sweetened, and hopefully you'll pass it. Well, I started running the kidney wellness program on my Wave Watch, and I promise you, after 2 days, that pain started to subside and go away. Now, maybe I passed a stone and I didn't know it, but whatever it is, I used the Wave Watch, and 2 days later, the pain was almost gone. Now it's now it's completely gone. So something good happened. That's why I'm saying this Wave Watch is a pretty amazing piece of technology. It's a Rife machine you wear on your wrist. If you haven't checked it out, you really need to do it. Do some check. Go to don't believe me. Go to YouTube and search out Wave Watch. That's WAVWATCH. Now we got some links at our website. If you go to TheWTFReports.com, and there's a pop-up there, and when you click on it, it'll take you to a whole bunch of information about the Wave Watch. If you haven't checked it out, you really should do so. And if you decide to purchase, you'll get $100 off of the purchase price when you use the promo code REDPILL100. So go to our website and check out the Wave Watch. You'll be glad that you did. All right, let's see here. It is Wednesday, hump day. Don't be a chump day, and I don't want to see you crump day. But anyway, let me see. There were a couple of other things that I was thinking about getting to. I don't really have enough time to open up that can of worms here. But let me see. Where is it? I want to play this again. This is Ursula von der Leyen. She's heads up the EU, and she's trying to tell everybody what our values are. Yeah.
Europe is the values of the Talmud. The Jewish sense of personal responsibility, of justice, and of solidarity.
Yeah, the Talmud. Yeah. Have you checked into the Talmud? Do you know some of the things that it says in there? It's obscene. And how she could possibly say Europe has the values of the Talmud. What is she thinking? I mean, all of Europe right now is in turmoil. Germany, Italy, Spain, France, England, Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, they're going through some really horrendous crap right now. And it's all because of those folks that have that Star of Remphan in front of their names. Anyway, no, I'm not an anti-Semite. Don't you even go there. The Palestinians are the Semites. Now, that doesn't mean that I Hamas. No, I don't promote Hamas. No. And I'm not, promoting Islam. It's about humanity. And if we ever gave, if we've ever given the rest of the world a good reason to hate us, well, it's the deeds and not the words. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for today's installment, the Wednesday Hump Day, Don't Be a Chump Day version of the WTF Reports. And if you're enjoying the broadcast, as always, I respectfully request that if you're listening on BitChute or Rumble or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, click like, share, subscribe, and above all else, spread the word. Word of mouth is the best advertising. So just trying to wake up people, doing the best I can, and, bringing you the audio clips so you can't blame me. Okay? Anyway, that's going to wrap it up. I'll be back again tomorrow. So until then, God bless you all. Stay safe. Stay free. And I will see you tomorrow.
Now
trusted. No. As long as you keep on lying, by deception thou shalt wage war. See you tomorrow.